Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to ShortSalePowerHour.com. I'm Kevin Kauffman. This is not Fred Weaver, but you are watching ShortSalePowerHour.com with Group 4610, and we have a special guest today, Mr. Tom Haupt. Tom is a friend of ours. We've met him through, you've heard us mention Clemmer and Associates. We met him through Clemmer and Associates, and he actually lives here locally in Phoenix, and so we've been able to spend some time with him personally and develop a little bit of a relationship. And we asked Tom if he would be willing to spare some of his time to come down and talk with us on Short Sale Power Hour. Tom's maybe not going to tell you all this. He's I don't want to say he's shy, but he's not going to tell you that he's an author who's wrote a recent book called Time Out: Winning Strategies for Playing a Bigger Game in Life, which is what we're going to talk about today, right?
Good, absolutely.
Overall, playing a bigger game in life.
Absolutely.
And so I'm going to let Tom start talking here because basically I've read this book. It's great. We'll tell you how to get it later. But what I want Tom to do is just kind of relay some of his strategies and his overall thoughts around this book, and I'll say personal development overall.
Absolutely.
And because we all know that's a huge part in our real estate business. So.
Well, Kevin, like you had mentioned, I wrote the book not too long ago, and the whole premise was about how can I help people here on this planet, in your business, in any kind of business, how can I help them to be bigger than how they see themselves, how they have a bigger business than they thought they could ever have.
Okay.
Because you probably have set goals at the beginning of the year. You set a parameter, you set a goal, you set something for the year, like most people, and I'm going to suggest that based on that goal setting, that they have a certain level of thinking. You have a certain level of thinking.
Yeah.
And what I'm always looking to do is to support people in thinking bigger than they actually do. Now, what happens is if you support people in bigger and better, they get a little nervous. They get a little, I don't know if I can do this, and then all of this. You ever talk to yourself?
Oh, yeah. Only once or twice a day. An hour, I think.
Most people talk to themselves a lot more than that. Well, a lot of time that self-talk does not support you and I.
Absolutely.
And so going back to if we set goals in the beginning of the year, it's all based on a certain level of thinking we have, a belief system that we have.
Right.
And I know through over 20, 30, 40 years of either living on this planet or being in business. Okay, I've been an entrepreneur, and I've been a self-employed business person. I've traveled the world to help people. The feedback and what I know is that I need to change this before I can change the results of my life. And changing my thinking will transform my results.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I know that because I've seen you do it. I've seen you in your business. The first time I met you, you were actually speaking.
Okay.
So you've got a speaking business as well. I mean, you speak as part of your business,
Yep.
but you mentioned that you run a business. I believe you've had an insurance business.
Absolutely, insurance and investment business.
Investments.
Absolutely. Before that, I had a government contract packaging business. I've had a credit collection and finance company with 50 employees.
Wow.
So I've run the gamut of small business. Now currently it's my wife and I were in business, but for many years I've managed people. I have the capacity to manage and to coach people in and out of business. So I have a lot of life experience, married, children, the whole bit. And so I apply all of that when I'm working with people. How can I support you in being bigger and seeing yourself and creating bigger results than you could ever imagine? I think in this particular series that we're going to do, I really truly believe that I can offer something to the viewer that maybe they haven't heard about before. And if they heard something like this, personal development stuff, the mindset, maybe it's as a result they can get a glean, just maybe one or two ideas from each segment that they can apply in their business. Because you know what? There's a lot of theory out there.
Oh, there's a ton.
There's a lot of self-help books. Not this one, but there's a lot of self-help books.
Absolutely.
And there's a lot of theory. And it took me 2.5 years to write this book so that whether you understood and or were familiar with personal development or not, that quite frankly, let's be straight, not everyone's heard about this level of work. I wanted to make it so that the lay person with no or little or no experience around what's this personal growth stuff all about, that they could take the book and actually apply what I'm talking about into their lives. And the feedback that I've gotten, the reviews I've gotten have just been tremendous. So although it took 2.5 years to write, I wouldn't recommend that to anybody. 2.5 years, get it done sooner. But it's been well worth the feedback that I've gotten.
Absolutely. So, I mean, my point of the reason why I asked Tom that question is because I know that about Tom. I've been able to spend some time with Tom over the past couple of years, and I know that he's run successful businesses, as well as been a personal development speaker, as well as an author of an amazing book. And you know that having a bigger life and a bigger business all have to do with the same things. I mean, it's the exact same principles. So whether you may be sitting there at home or in your office going, yeah, well, life's great. I just want to know, I want to make my short sale business bigger or better or this or that. They really coincide. It's the same principles. It's the same techniques. If you're looking for greater business, it's the same things that are going to enable you to have a bigger and better life too. Same thing in your business. So
absolutely. And can I just add?
Yeah.
And I learned that. I learned that almost 25 years ago, where there was an extraordinarily successful business person who was in sales. And what I did, I called the person up and I said, "Here's what I'm willing to do. You don't know me, but I'm in the same industry. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pay for your lunch. I'm going to pay for your gas. I'm going to be a fly on the wall. I'm not going to say a word, but I'm going to be at your office at 7:30 next Monday, and I'm going to hang out with you all day long. And I'm not going to bother you. I'm just going to listen and watch and just to experience what you do, because I want to be where you are. And I don't want to take 5 years that it took you. I want to do it in 1 year." So he laughed. He said, "You're going to pay for my gas? You're going to pay for my lunch?" I said, "Yeah." And he says, I said, "I won't even ask you any questions." He said, "All right, you're on." So I drove across town on Monday morning. I show up 7:30. I'm telling you, here's what I found out by the end of the day. He wasn't doing anything differently than I was doing, being in my business for about 3 years. He was in the business for 15. He was not doing anything differently than what I was doing. But here's what he was doing. He was doing it 5 times more than I was.
Wow.
He made 5 times the number of phone calls. He had 5 times the number of staff people. He had 5 times the number of appointments that I did. But the languaging, how he did it, how he managed his day was exactly the same way I was doing it. He was seeing more people. He was calling more people.
Absolutely.
And so I went back and I said, I don't have to change, because I'm sure if people pick your brain or what they're learning from these videos, they don't have to have these drastic changes, right? In order for them to have a different business, Absolutely. They have to just change the thinking a little bit.
Yeah. Change your viewpoint.
Change your perspective, your viewpoint. It only takes, if you're driving in a car on a straight road, and all you do is take a slight movement to the right, less than an eighth of an inch, what's going to happen eventually on this road?
Well, you're going to be off of it.
You're going to be off the road.
Yeah.
Or you could take the wheel and go way off the road, but you're going to go off the road either way.
Either way, yeah.
So here's my point. If you're on the road and you don't like your business where it is right now, don't be freaked out and say, "Uh-oh, I've got to change my whole business. I gotta change things up." No, you've just got to change the way you think a little bit and do your business a little bit differently. And over time, you'll wind up at a new destination, a different destination.
Cool. I like that. Well, I've already determined. I talked to Tom into doing a few more videos with us before we even hit record on this one. So we're gonna come back next Monday with Tom, and we're gonna talk about one of his favorite topics. I'm going to let him surprise you with it. Really quick, Tom, would you mind letting everybody know where they can get a copy of this book at, and if any other information that they can get from you?
Sure, absolutely. I really appreciate the opportunity, Kevin. I know that you and Fred are very diligent and very persistent in creating a new and bigger and transformational business, and I really want to acknowledge you for that, because a lot of people talk a big game, and however, they don't play a big game. I'm talking to people that want to take their life on, because I truly believe that everyone has the talents and the gifts inside of them in order to create and transform big and new results in their life. So, this book isn't really for the faint of heart. This book is for people that truly want to have transformational change in their life. I have exercises in there that will absolutely cause you to think differently, that will cause new and different results in people's lives. However, like anything else, if you don't apply what you learn, I mean, Gary Keller has got some tremendous books. What's his most recent book? Shift. I mean, and I'm sure he doesn't talk about a big shift. You know, it's like all these little shifts wind up in a new and different place. Yeah. So he's brilliant in what he's written. So this book is about practical, applicable exercises that I can change my thinking, change what's in my heart, and as a result, change the results of my life. And again, don't buy the book if you truly don't want new and different results in your life. If you want the same old, then that's great. There's no judgment on that. However, in order for us to receive new in our life, and really it's going to take some work. So the book is on my website at tomhaupt.com, TOMHAUPT. However, you probably won't run out and buy it right now, and that's okay because I probably scared you. However, if you come back next week, I'll really put the fear into people's lives, because you know what? They're going to be like, oh no, I can actually have the business that I say that I want. You mean to tell me I can really truly be the success I want to be? And the answer is yes, and they've got to do the work. So next week, I'm going to throw at you something that's going to put people like, uh-oh, and the good news is they're going to get what they say they want. So
I love it.
I'm excited.
I already know the topic ahead of time, so I'm excited. So we're going to wrap this one up just so we can get on to next Monday's. Come back Wednesday, of course. Fred and I will be picking up our series and obviously solely short sale related. And come back next Monday. Tom's going to have an amazing lesson for you. And I'm excited for that episode already. So we're going to wrap it up like we always do. I think Tom knows the cheer. If not, he'll catch on halfway through. So 1, 2, 3. Short Sale Power Hour. Short Sale Power Hour. Crush it.
Crush it.
Actually, we'll say timeout today. See if the remote can work.